Okay, I kind of wanted to talk about Jak II's concept art because I was going over some of it the other day and I found a lot of it really interesting and I would like to share it with you. Okay, I'm going to open this up first. Okay, well this document thing I've got here is the art of Naughty Dog. I somehow just happened to come across this totally legally, by the way, but I wanted to share this one first because it has a specific image I want to share. Okay, I'm about to propose something to you all. The Jak 2 we ended up getting, as wacky and weird as it is and far out and whatever, Naughty Dog were holding themselves the fuck back, and I am willing to prove that. So this top image here, which stretches across these two images, this is an early... Wait, do I have the date for this? Oh, I do. 12th of March, 2002. Oh, wow, that's really... That's not very far from Jak 1's release. Okay. Just wanted the date because that's interesting to me. So this map here, you know, it seems to be like an early concept for Jak 2's world. If we look, so we've got Haven City here with the wall, and then we've got like things outside the city. And this is what really interests me because, like, well, in the final game, right, we've got the Metalhead Nest, and we know what it all looks like from you know, from the top of the when we go over the level where you're infiltrating the Baron's palace and we're on the support beam. We know what the whole layout looks like. If we so we see, like, you know, here's Haven City and there's the walls and everything, and then outside we see those spikes over there, and that's the Metalhead Nest, right? And then we come back to this and we see, you know, it's similar. We've got Haven City here and then a long stretch of land and then the Metalhead Nest. You know, that's all cool. But what's interesting is like all this stuff in between. There's like these structures in between, and it's like, what are these meant to be? And okay, hold on. I don't know if I should go in depth. Okay, there's so much I want to talk about. Okay, this one here in particular looks like a specific thing which I kind of want to bring up. It looks like this, which is the drill platform. This looks like it would have been more like an actual area that we would know the physical location of, because in the final game, we have no idea where the drill platform is. We kind of just warp to it. There's no physical location in the map that we're aware of where it is. But here it looks like, you know, we've got cars driving past it, and there's multiple of them. Because, you know, why wouldn't there be? And it looks like in this is what this one here looks like to me. Not like a huge detail. That's just like what I immediately think of. But this first image, this like early world map for Jak 2, this is what really got me like thinking like, I wonder what, you know, other early Haven City stuff would have looked like. And so we're gonna look at some of it. I don't think there's any more in this one. There's a couple, okay, but we're gonna look at those. So these images were taken from Bob Raffe's his page, and I want to look at some of these. Some of these are really whack. Kind of feels like you could be going on foot in that early image. Don't know why I get that. Yeah, no, I kind of get it. Yeah. Okay, so what do I want to start with? Oh, this image here. This is from Jak 1. I don't know why this is so consistently mixed up with Jak 2 images, but that's Jak 1. Okay, I guess we'll start with this one. So one thing you'll notice about a lot of these Jak 2 concept art is there's a lot more verticality than what we get in the final game, which I think is really interesting. So here's a couple of the palace. I'm assuming because there's a few different looks for the palace in various concept art images. There's no like one consistent look to the palace until later on in the project. This is pretty close to what it looks like, but I'm going to assume this is also the palace unless it's just some other structure. And if we look, you know, there's more vertical, like here's like a canal, but there's more verticality to this. Like there's these drawbridges which are like already elevated, and then there's like another level with like, you know, entrances and stuff, and then there's another level like with all these bridges and stuff, and it's just like, man, it's just, there's so many layers. It's really cool. And then we've got the palace here. There's like a bridge here which goes to like the base of it. This is called Rich/Poor City, which a lot of these have like different like city names. I don't think they really settled on like a name until later on. Or I kind of have a theory that maybe there was multiple cities, but I don't know that just yet. Nothing super interesting here, but what I want to look at next. Oh, what do I want to look at next? I guess the topic of verticality, these ones here. So here's like a ground level shot, and we've got, you know, bridges here, bridges there, or just archways. Again, more bridges and a lower section there. You know, you look at these, there's more verticality than what we get in Jak II. In Jak II, there's very little gameplay verticality. It's mostly, you know, 1 or 2 levels, you know. Okay, these images are what really got my brain going. So let's look at this one. This is a really cool shot. Very densely populated urban area. And what do we see, right? We see 3 guys here on a bridge above these people. They seem to be in some sort of uniform with a cap and a cape. This guy seems to be blowing a horn of some sort. What's this? A flut with some guy on it. There's people like, you know, in their houses, peering out from above, going into them. There's like a ladder here for people to climb onto another level here. Another flut here. Like an animal with like a draw carriage and a guy carrying stuff. There's just so much happening here, you know? What looks to be like, you know, some sort of structure. This might be a palace support beam in the background here. Just a very densely populated alleyway. Which we don't really see a lot of in Jak II. Jak II is very wide and sparse, which serves the gameplay that we ended up getting, which, you know, is fine. Is that guy in the flut Jak? I don't think so. We see a few people with like a similar sort of look. I don't think any of these were meant to have like Jak in it. It was more so just to like show images of the city in like, you know, just in its day-to-day. This image in particular though, this one on the left, on the right, sorry, this is what really got my brain going. Okay, I just think this whole shot is just beautiful, like really well. The composition is just so fucking cool, and like the angle and the perspective, oh, it's so good. I love it. But what do we see here, right? What's this guy? Bro, that's a lurker with a collar and this guy holding him by a chain, carrying shit. So, you know, the lurkers are slaves in Jak II, but we don't really get to see that. Here we're like explicitly shown it. Like, this guy just owns this lurker, and this lurker is doing manual labor for him. Here's another lurker carrying stuff. I don't see anyone directly, you know, leading him. But, you know, here what looks to be like a vehicle of some sort. We see some wheels and like a roof. We see what seems to be Crimson Guards. This guy with like the hat and the cape with like a staff. Same with right here. Another guy, maybe he is Jak. I don't know. Possibly kind of looks like him a little bit. Same with this guy, I guess, though. What was I saying? Yeah, like, you know, bridges over a canal. More stuff going into there. You know, another like big arch overlooking everything, and like everything here is just under it. I love that. It feels so cozy and lived in and detailed. But what's this? Samos's hut, by the looks of it, just sitting there in the middle of this city, and it's like fenced off with this crumbling wall and barbed wire and spikes. And it's like, damn, why is this here? You know? It's so odd. This whole picture is so beautiful to me. I think it's a really well done, just like a really well done piece of art on its own right, not just for like concept art or whatever. I think it's really, really good. And then we've got this image here of another palace concept. Oh, that's cool. So like, it's not just like, you know, steel support cables. It's like what looks like more rope like. thing, and it like goes like loops there, and that's pretty cool actually. But this is also kind of interesting because it's like, you know, we've got like, you know, houses and shit surrounding it, but then we've got like an area where people gather and like can go in it from the base all around it. So it's like, this must be like some sort of gathering area for some purpose. Maybe it's like a you know, maybe that's where the races could have been, like under the palace, or maybe some sort of business district in this. I'm gonna turn the voices off. Fuck me, shut up. Yeah, and then look, like we've still got more bridges, more levels, like there's some elevation, you know, and then we've got this other thing over here. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff to look at. So these two images on the right and left, ooh, they got my brain going. They got my brain going. And then this one as well. Like, oh my god, I love this so much. Like there's just this decrepit alleyway where like the ground is like got water seeping into it. This guy is like hiding. I guess this is like a guard here because of like the cape. And again, it's just like the framing here is so cool with like, you know, these arches that like frame everything. And like this one with like the barbed wire here, like this sewer grate. So I guess that's like the reason that the ground is like this. But like even still, like there's like a little bridge over it with people like bustling across and like higher. Oh my god, it's so cool! It's so cool. And then we get like another image of like the outside of the city, and it's like, well, the city is walled off, but there's also a chasm between like the land and the wall. And this one here says it's called Walled City. Oh my god, this was done in January. Fuck me. Like just a month after Jak I launched. Crazy. Same with this one. Oh man. We'll come back to that one. And then we've got more here. This one, oh my god, these two are so good. So here's like the port, the city docks. And it's like, look at how dense and bustling this is, you know? Like, this is like a full market area. Like, there's people going about, like, trading. Look, there's a little cat. Oh my god, you can't see. I'm so sorry. Doop. Doop. Look, there's a cat. Where's a cat in the Jak games? Like, there's people, like, you know, going about their day, doing trade and stuff. There's, like, these like, boats with, like, their own little, like, stock and stuff on it. Like, people selling. And then, like, you know, that's all on the ground level, and like, you know, there's small bridges coming across. There's like little markets, but then like again, elevation, and like, you know, it's a sci-fi game, so it's not just elevation with like, you know, multiple layers of like physical structures. We've also got like floating ships and stuff, and like people like can get to these areas through the air. Combination of cat and what though? Yeah, true. And like there's all these ships coming and going. You know, it's like a bustling, busy center of trade and oh, it's so cool. And it's like, again, it's all on the docks. It's like, oh, so good. And then this one here, very similar vibe. This one reminds me of like the port a little bit, I guess, because like there's the walls and like the water. This guy fishing. The water here looks like it's running dry though, which is interesting to me. Like this piece of like this area where like the water's running dry. We've got like these formations here in the water. And like this small walled off little district, I guess. We've got this guy here trying to sell his own little stuff. There's people going about. This guy fishing here. It's like, oh, it's so cool. And again, we've got stuff in the background, like larger structures in the background and ships. And again, Samos' hut. Why is this here? It's really interesting. I guess we'll show this one real quick. This one got me thinking a bit. Another one where like, you know, it's in the water. Looks to be some guards patrolling here, like some sentry turrets by the looks of it. These look like, I guess, it looks like these are like, there's multiple of these towers posted on the outer perimeters, like connected to the wall. These look like maybe watchtowers of some sort, maybe some sort of surveillance thing. I'm not really 100% sure. Again, that's Jak I. We will look at these next. So this is a floating city. This is Ocean City, and this is Fortress City. Again, so it's like, I'm thinking maybe initially there was going to be multiple cities that you could visit, because it's like look at this one. This one's really cool. This bridge here that's all decrepit and broken. These precursor robots that are like seem to be guarding it, sort of thing. And again, and like this is a cool design because it's like a circular city. But again, like there's layers to it, and oh, it's so cool. But again, like Samos's hut seems to be here by the look of this windmill, and so maybe this isn't another city. Maybe this was an early design for Haven, possibly. Who knows? But the idea of having multiple cities, though, well, these all seem to be dated within days of each other. So who knows? This is Fortress City by the looks of it. You know, maybe similar to Haven because like it's got these jutting things out of the ground like in those earlier Haven concepts, and a wall. This has like turrets on the top, and a ship coming in and out. This is a floating city with this giant tree and like, and again, like a wall here with a guard on top and like a city underneath. Super cool. Super cool. Okay, now for the final image I want to show you. This is what it's just like got me thinking like, man, Naughty Dog were holding themselves the fuck back when it came to this game and like the scope and ambition. Like, okay, look at this shit. I'll start over here. Like all of these images, Samos's hut is central to it. This is Future City by the looks of it. All of them seem to be named Future City. And like, look at this, man. Like this really abstract looking, like what is this place, you know? Like, oh man. And then this one where it's like Samos's hut is like central to this, like this area. And it's like all, just like, look, it's so much more cyberpunk and so much more out there science fiction than Jak II ended up becoming, right? And then these ones where it's like Samos's hut is on this like fountain and there's floating gardens and like, oh man. And then this one where it's like in like a capsule thing. It's like being contained and there's like oh my God, like, dude, this is so cool, you know? Like, I'm just so curious as to what the significance of Haven of Samos's hut was going to be in this new setting initially. I'm so curious on the plot point of that in particular. But what all right, looking at all of this, have we looked at all of it? I think we have. Yeah. Looking at all of it has got me thinking a few things, right? So one thing, I want to know what Samos's hut's role was going to be in all of this. Because we see it in multiple areas. I think I was just playing around with like, I don't think these like multiple huts. I think it's the same one, just like a bunch of different concepts for like where it could be placed or what it could look like in a new setting sort of thing. I don't think it was going to be in literally all of these areas, right? Secondly, again, the verticality. Haven City in Jak II, very, very flat. We like, you know, all of the verticality of the buildings. I mean, the buildings in this game just kind of act like walls. Like the only verticality we get is these two hover zones, right? We don't really go higher than this in Jak II's Haven City, which is a shame. Yeah, like all the buildings in these games kind of just act like walls to funnel you through the sections, which, you know, is functional from like a gameplay perspective, and like, you know, it works, it's fine. But then like, again, like you look at these images and like there's just so much more going on. There's so much more verticality. Point 3. I don't get a huge vibe of like authoritarianism with these images. Obviously, like, you know, we see things like the tower and what looks to be like the guards, and obviously there's just concept art for the city. Like, you can't really like glean specific story aspects like that just from this, but like a lot of these do just feel like especially this is just like out there sci-fi stuff, you know. And like this as well, like these people like seem to be going about their daily lives, like in this market area, this guy just fishing, or This one, like Fortress City, this seems a bit more like a military area, but a city. Like again, maybe there was plans to have multiple cities instead of just the one. This one gives me a bit more current Jak 2 vibes. I don't know the date on this one. I don't know how early or late in production this was. This is like the only colored one, which makes me think it's an early one because Jak 1's concept art was mostly colored and none of Jak 2's is. So, but I could be completely wrong on that. And it just makes me think of like what this game could have like. I think the reason that we didn't get a Haven City looking like this like densely populated, this bustling, this detailed. And I hate when people use this term because I don't think many people use it correctly, but I think it is true here. I think it is down to hardware limitations. I don't think they could have rendered a city this bustling, this detailed, this like intricate on the PlayStation 2. And I think that's a shame. I don't think Naughty Dog were really able to realize their like initial ambitions. And you know, to be fair, most projects don't get to realize their initial ambitions. Oh my god, I'm losing. Like I was saying, like most projects, you know, you don't get to realize your initial like ambitions. Every project has like wildly big ideas, and they're all focused and brought in to like, you know, create something like, you know, polished and good. Like, you know, you hope all your projects are good, obviously. But I do think like the scope of this was like genuinely down to the hardware they were working with. I don't think the PlayStation 2 could have handled a city this detailed and dense. Yeah. So it's made me very depressed because like a city like this, where it's like, cause like I feel like, especially looking at this image with like all the ships flying around and like. And everything like that. It makes me think like, well, if they wanted to still have, and this one too, if they still wanted to have like hover cars and like hover vehicles, it would have been more than just like the 2 hover zones, right? You would have been able to fly through the city and the skies and go like through the multiple like elevations of the city and everything. And it's like, damn, dude, I wish we got a game like that with Jak's mechanics. And it's just like, well, Jak 2 isn't this game. And I would love to see this game exist. So do we fully remake Jak 2 as well? It's so bad. It's so bad. Again, though, just looking at like this early map of Haven City and the Metalhead Nest, it just makes me feel like, you know, and again, like, you know, here's like the nest and like there's chasms between where you could walk and where it was. And other images of Haven City showed the same. And this is all like, you know, grasslands, and then as you slowly transition, it just becomes like all rock and craters, and oh, it's so cool. And like how the sky does that, that's cool. So I don't know. I wish we could have gotten something like this, where like we could go outside the city and have it be more explorable. Like, okay, maybe like the city itself is like, you know, the GTA sandbox style, but then when we leave the city, it's more like Jak 1, where it's like a big expansive lush area, or maybe not lush, but like, or just a cool area to like dick around and explore, and that would have been so cool. Oh, Sewers was way different. Damn. Even in the levels, it was gonna have like different elevations and like an open sort of design. I mean, I'm not disparaging Jak 2's like actual level design. I think it's actually quite stellar, like the linear level design. What does it say? I want to pull the levers. Are we concerned what will happen when the gate opens? Cute. Oh, again, like look at this, man. Like the boats and the people and the markets at the port. Oh, so cool. And like the warehouses and the shipping containers. I think that's about all I wanted to say about the concept art. So I guess we'll reboot this in not debug mode. Did you know Jak 2 was going to have a similar dark fantasy theme similar to Vex, but it was changed? I don't know about that. What I've heard is that initially they were still going to take Jak into like a darker direction, but still have it be like a platformer similar to one. But like eventually like they changed to the GTA design as well to like fit that, I guess. Samos is in the city. is in Haven City because Jak 2 has the same world as Jak and Daxter. Oh no, I know that, but like in the final game, it's in Dead Town, which is like the early Haven City. Which, you know, like I think it's really well done how they handled that plot point. I'm just very curious as to what the intention was with it initially, because like it's so different, you know. Thanks for getting in depth with this concept art. I never got the chance to really look much into it. Jak 2's concept art never really interested me much, especially compared to Jak 1. Jak 1 has always been the most interesting to me because Jak 1 is such like a more mystical game, I guess. Like it's always got my mind racing a lot more. Jak 2's has always looked very like, you know, technical and like, oh, you know, it's just a city or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then like looking at those like really early images, which were like meant to be, you know, again, like just throwing the wildest shit out there just to like see what people like, what makes people excited in like in early development. Man, that stuff got my mind so much, like racing so much looking at that the other day. If Samos' hut was supposed to be in the center of the city, does that mean they drain the ocean to make this city? Yeah, I don't know. Because like if we looked at, well, hold on, let me bring that back up. Like Samos' hut is like here, right? But then like we look under and it's like there's water and there's bridges above. So like I don't know. It's interesting. Early concepts are always interesting to look at, especially when it's really different to the final release. Yeah, it's so funny. Like when I was talking to Deity about it, he's like, you know, it's crazy to think that the Jak 2 we got was Naughty Dog holding back. And it's just like, oh my god, dude, yeah. Crazy. Like those future city images, like Jesus Christ, like what the fuck were they cooking with that, you know? Like I think like initially Jak was going to have time manipulation mechanics, so maybe like there was points in the story where you would go further in the future. Oh man, oh my god. Oh my god. At this rate, we should just redo the whole trilogy. That's literally what I was thinking. It's like, man, we're already redoing Jak 3 because it sucks. It's like, oh my god, the ambition of Jak 2, what it could have been. Oh, it will never be fully realized. Okay, we'll just redo Jak 2 entirely. While we're at it, why not just remake Jak 1? It's like, fuck me. I always loved Jak 1 concept art and always wanted to know what the game would have been. Well, it's interesting actually. There was a point I wanted to make. When you look at concept art for Jak 1 and 3, most of the stuff that you see that didn't make it in the game was mostly just stuff that they didn't get to add because of like time constraints, right? Like for Jak 1, you'll see like concept art for scrapped levels. And Jak 3, I don't know, there's not much concept art of Jak 3 that didn't make it in the game, to be honest. But you don't really see concept art for those games where the game is just completely different, you know? Like, I mean, to be fair, like the concept art we just looked at, oh, hey, Alex, you just missed a great stun lock. Like the concept art we just looked at, you know, it's still like, you know, a cool sci-fi city, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the approach to it was like completely different to what we ended up getting. This isn't like a matter of just, oh, they didn't get enough time to do that. It's the approach was totally different, which is what's really interesting to me about it. Whereas like, again, with like Jak 1's concept art, most of that stuff was just like, oh, we didn't get enough time to implement it. Or some of it like the Dark Eco crate vehicles in Misty Island. There's concept art for that, and there's screenshots of that being in the game, but they took it out in the final release. So like, you know, some of that stuff like did make it in the game. I wonder what happened to the villagers of Jak 1. We can only assume they died horribly. The point I was trying to get at with a lot of that Jak 2 concept art stuff, not only is it just really cool, but also it's like I really feel like the feeling I get of this like really detailed, bustling sci-fi city that we'd get to like have like mechanics similar to Jak 2 with, you know, like you know, flying vehicles to explore it, and have like really cool exploration and stuff. I really don't think we've gotten a game like that, you know. And it's like, you know, we've like, especially in like a cyberpunk setting like Jak 2, right? Like a sci-fi cyberpunk setting. And it's like, you know, we've got Cyberpunk 2077, but it's like, we don't really get that either because like, we just still have like normal ass fucking cars on the ground. We don't have flying vehicles that allows us to like explore in multi dimensions, you know, like, oh, I want a modern Jak 2 in a design sense, you know? And it's like, you know, I am still like fervently anti-remake in a lot of ways, but the one way that I think it is really cool is if you take like the initial like design philosophy and design like objectives of an idea and do it again but different, like a different interpretation of it. And especially if it's the original creators who want to do this, like a Jak 2 remake with like that hugely ambitious, intricately detailed and bustling Haven City. Holy shit, that would have been so cool. Especially because Jak 2's mechanics are so good. Oh. Again, I just don't feel like that original Jak 2 has ever been realized as a video game, which makes me really sad. Because man, that looks fucking cool. And it's like, when I'm thinking about it, I was like, well, like, you know, having it as a Jak and Daxter game would be even cooler because I love this game and this world and this lore and this characters. But then I think like, well, how would you do it? The Jak 2 remake sort of thing I talked about just then? Okay, that's a way. Then it's like, okay, what about like Jak 4? But it's like, well, I don't want Jak 4 to like be set in Haven City again. That sounds stupid as shit. And it's also like, we've already done this city setting. So like having the fourth one set in like another city, you know, so it's like, fuck, well, I can't even envision a way for Jak to like capitalize on these early ambitions with current like hardware, you know? I think the only way to do it is with like that sort of remake, reimagining concept that I proposed earlier. That's the only way I could like feasibly see those initial like sort of ambitions realized. But again, like for like, and I think like if like they were to do that, the story would be wildly different. I don't think like a lot of the intricate, well, I think it's pretty obvious the intricate plot beats and stuff like that was not figured out at the time. And I imagine like a game like that would have a very different plot, very different pacing, everything. Oh, I just want to know what they were planning with Samos' hut there. It's so cool. I hate Cyberpunk 2077 for being the thing people think of when mentioning Cyberpunk. Yeah. Hate's a strong word, but yeah, Cyberpunk is so much more. Oh, I know. Like again, like so many. Oh, hold on, I gotta bring it back up. Like so many of these images are just fucking Blade Runner, you know? Like Jesus. Like here, you know, like just set this at nighttime with like pouring rain. This is Blade Runner. This is Blade Runner. This is Blade Runner, you know? Like, dude, whoa, we could have had the greatest game ever. And we did. It's Jak 2, but it could have been way cooler.